This is a wonderful little scooter. Very basic, very cheap. I once took it with me on the train and drove it from Dopana to Knokke, which is the entire Belgian coast. 70 kilometers. The rolling resistance on this thing is a joke. It was almost, a walk in the park. But there is one thing. It has a very high deck and it has a lot of ground clearance. It has 8.5 centimeters of ground clearance. This means that you have to bend your knee a lot to be able to reach the ground with the other foot. Let's do something about it. I made these two pieces. Not two the same, but mirror image. These are going on the wheel like this. This is where the wheel is normally bolted. But I'm gonna add an extra hole to make sure it doesn't move. And you see, the deck is gonna be much lower to the ground. Now I'm running into some problems, which is almost always the case when you change something. You see here, this is coming very close to the rim, so I'm gonna cut off a little bit. This is too close for comfort. I'm also gonna cut a little bit here, because this looks bad and I don't need it. And also, there is not a lot of room between the spokes and this plate, so I can't really put a bolt in there. But luckily I found these screws with a countersunk head, so if I mount them from the inside out, this is not gonna touch the spokes, I hope. Finished product, spray painted with a little flat black. Mounted the adapters to the frame, but now I see the wheel doesn't fit in between. I have to mount them to the wheel first and then put it in the frame. Here you are. Now this is gonna be nice and low. Compare the back to the front. To make the front end lower, I'm gonna cut this. Make a square tube that fits inside this one. And then I can slide those two halves apart. Before, the scooter had this little fender. Of course that doesn't fit anymore. So I got a rectangular tube like this. And I cut it open. So now I'm gonna put this here. And then I'm gonna weld the fender to it. Now I'm gonna make this part of the frame longer. I cut this piece in half. This baby is made really light. It sits in the scooter like this. So the wall thickness is different for these sides and these sides, because the largest forces are like this. Doing a little test to see how far I have to slide the tube apart. Now the ground clearance is 3.5 centimeters. I found this aluminum that is 5 millimeters thick. So now I'm gonna weld myself a rectangular tube out of these little pieces that I made. I drilled holes here so I can make a weld like that. before I put a bead here and here, you know. Now first I check that this is really straight. Ta-da! Scooters welded together. So now I have an even 3.5 centimeters ground clearance from front to back. And here is the finished product. I found this plastic plate that I mounted here. It's gonna be kind of a mud guard, because I have one in the rear. So now I can ride it in the rain if I want.